Hello and welcome to another edition of Crush City Territory. My name is Tyler Stafford. Normally I'd be joined by Chandler Rome, but despite all evidence to the contrary, he has friends and he's going to be hanging out with them tonight. So I'm flying solo for this episode here. We're going to recap the Orioles series a little bit later on, but first we are joined by a very special guest. We got our buddy here, Dennis Bartell. You may know him, if you were a student, as just Mr. Bartell, Coach Bartell. But more importantly, if you were ever in the Astrodome, if you were in Enron or Minute Maid or whatever we wanted to call it at the time, you knew him as Orbit and Junction Jack. He did that for a long time and then was out in the grounds crew. So we are very excited to have you here. Dennis, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dennis and I go way back. We've known each other a good while. I remember I have a specific memory, Dennis, of sitting in the Crawford boxes at one game, and you came up to my dad and I remember we took a picture, and in my ear through the Junction Jack costume, you're like, "Hey, it's Dennis," and so that always cracked me up hearing the mascot voice from there, but. Yeah, we appreciate you being here, and I just wanted to hear some stories, man. I'm sure you've got a lot of them, but for the people that don't know you, can you kind of give us a brief recap of how you got to be Orbit and Junction Jack? How did you get started in this?
I was working at a Galena Park Middle School at the time, and we had Orbit come out, and so I got to talking to him afterwards, and he said, "Well, why don't you come on and join us and become one of our handlers? And I'd love for you to be a handler." So I started working as a handler, and then it just progressed, and I got in the suit. He needed a backup, so from there it just went that way.
So you're talking to Orbit in the middle school. Does he have his head on still?
No, he's
Did he
out. It was
take
outside the
Okay.
suit. It was after the program.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things you don't think about. I mean, obviously we know that there's a person in there, but you kind of forget it. You guys do such a good job of becoming this character. I mean, did you have any sort of were you a theater kid? Where did this come from that you
I
knew
was
that
a
you wanted to do it?
I was actually a character out at the Astro World
No
back before
way.
the Six Flags took over. There was a crew called Marvel McFay and his Enchanted Kingdom, and so I was Pierre the Rat. I was a rat at one time.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Okay, so it was what, 1989 is when you started?
When I first started with the Astros, yes.
Okay. So tell me what that looks like when you show up to the Astrodome as the handler, or if you're putting on the costume that day. Where do you go? What does a day look like?
Well, we have a certain room. We get there like 2 hours before game time. We walk around, we prep everything, and because if we're going to do something with that day, like a skit or something like that, we have to prepare for that. And so, but we go out about 30 minutes before game time out onto the field and just meet and greet with the fans and just have a good time with them, making them happy and enjoying what they're doing, making their experience a little bit better than it would be.
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
was with the Astros when they weren't winning at the time, so.
yeah, those are some dark days before
They
Bagwell
were.
comes in '91, and they start to really get there. I mean, I was telling you right before we started recording, I was born in '92, so I remember going to the Astrodome, but I really just remember kind of the vibes of it. But I definitely remember Orbit. I remember what was the captain's or general admission, was that his name?
General admission, yeah. He still works for the Astros.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in
That's
charge of
awesome.
customer service.
That's so cool. Okay, so tell me, I mean, what does it look like from your point of view? Now, I've been inside the Chick-fil-A cow. I did that when I was a teenager. So I know sticking the head on, you're seeing out. I assume the mouth is where you're
Right.
you're looking out from. I mean, what does it feel like to be on the field running around with everybody screaming for you?
When you first start, you have to get used to it because it's something like it's a dream that not everybody gets to do. So, but after a while, it becomes old hat. What I'm seeing out my mouth, like you said, and I'm just watching. I'm watching everything around me to see what I'm doing next because I got to plan ahead, so I can't stop and think what I need to do to be funny.
Yeah, that's so fun. So okay, so you're out on the field in the Astrodome. You're doing that for a while, and then both as the handler and in there. And then when the Astros move out of the Astrodome, when did they start saying, okay, we want to have a new mascot? Were you involved at all in the planning of Junction Jack?
No, I was not. But the rumor was that Dre McClain's wife loved rabbits. So that's the reason we went to Junction Jack in the year 2000.
That's fun. When did you see the costume for the first time?
Probably right before the opening day.
You didn't get a chance to try it out, make sure
No,
you could work it?
no. It was just right before opening day. It was probably a month or so before opening day, but it was a kept secret what we were doing. So
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit about, I feel like I've heard you tell some stories of like the All-Star game and things like that. Obviously in the field there, but what are some of your favorite memories from your time of doing this?
my favorite memories were always the time going to visit kids in the hospital.
Mm.
There were opportunities. I've been called to go see kids. They wanted to see Junction Jack before they passed away. And so I'd go over there and try to get them to laugh. And some of them, their parents were so thankful and things like that. It's just, and then, I've learned that, the next couple of days they passed away. That was hard. It hurt. I've cried inside the suit, and people don't have a clue, but I still have that same old goofy look on the outside. But inside, I'm crying. It's okay.
I mean, yeah, those are lifelong. I mean, like I said, I still remember, even though I knew who you were, I still remember getting to meet Junction Jack and how important that was. And so, I mean, you had a full-time job at a school district and we're doing this. Like when did you sleep? How are you managing doing all of these jobs?
It was rough going to work every day and then getting up and getting out to do Junction Jack at 5 o'clock. So, or during the game. So thankful there were breaks in games, and thankful teachers have summers off. So that helped out a little bit better. So,
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, tell me a little bit about, you know, as you're kind of running around in Junction Jack, how much planning goes into it beforehand? You talked about having the skits and stuff. Are you guys writing things ahead of time, or are you just kind of making it up on the fly? What does that look like?
it has to be written and presented to the media people ahead of time because
Okay.
they want to know where we're at whenever we're doing it. So it's all coordinated with them. But you just my job was just I want to visit as many people as I can, and because I want them to experience that they were with the mascot, because there's a lot of games you go and they don't even see the mascot, and my job is to make sure you were visible.
Yeah, well, I can tell you. So I've taken my 5-year-old Olivia a couple times to games, and I can tell you, she is watching for Orbit like a hawk. That is all that she's thinking about the entire game. She's constantly looking, where's Orbit? Oh, there he is, way over on the other side. That's all she's thinking about. I mean, it's a big responsibility for you. Are you consciously aware of that as you're doing this?
Oh, yes, I was. Believe it or not, when I go to like a sporting event, I'm watching for the mascot. I don't even really watch the game. I want to see what they're doing, see how they're doing it, see where they're at. Everywhere they go, I'm watching. I'm just scanning them, and sometimes I forget I'm at a baseball game. So, yeah, it's a big responsibility.
Did you have any favorite, kind of skits or character ideas that you brought to Junction Jack or Orbit as you were doing that?
We were doing a skit from outer space that he was Junction Jack was a Martian, so to speak, and he was involving and doing all these things. And the media people were mainly setting that up, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah. So you're writing that ahead of time. You've got kind of your skit going, all of those things. Tell me about like navigating the stadium in this costume. Obviously, that's what the handler is for, but for people who haven't thought about that before, like what does it take to move around a stadium full of people like that in a giant costume?
Well, you got to realize you're a celebrity, and everybody wants to see you. I mean, everybody in the stand, you got 50,000 people in the stands. They all want to see or Junction Jack or Orbit. And it's it's tough sometimes. I mean, I try to make it through. Like if I'm got to be in a time, place at a certain time, I've got to move. And as my wife says, I got a fast walk that needs to peak, and my handlers will say, sorry, he'll come back or something like that. But, you've just got to learn to move up.
What did it feel like inside of there? Are you just sweating bullets the whole time? It's got to be so hot.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to block that out of mind. Like when I went to Phoenix, it was 114 degrees outside. And you just have to block that out of your mind and say, I'm not hot. I'm not hot. I'm not hot. But somebody will walk up to you and they'll say, you've got to be hot. And then that breaks your train of thought. And so as you're out there just mainly just doing your thing and not even thinking about the heat.
So the orbit room at Dyken Park now is kind of in that right field.
It's right by the gate.
Tunnel.
Yes, it
okay,
is.
so you're running back in there. You're just taking the head off, chugging waters in between these breaks.
You have to chug water before the games. You have to stay hydrated the whole time. There were times when I got tired of drinking water.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're inside, like you said. I mean, going to Phoenix.
Exactly. I don't think my career would have been that long with an outdoor stadium.
So I know you did, Orbit Junction Jack for a while, and then 2012, I believe, is when you hung up the suit. And then what was your next phase with the Astros?
I went straight to the grounds crew, had a blast because I was able to talk to people. In the suit, you're not able to talk, but at the ground crew, I enjoyed it. I mean, I got to visit with people. I got to hang out with the grounds crew, who I thought was a great job. They do a great job in that field every day.
Yeah. So, okay. I the only visible part that I got to see of you doing that when I'd go to the games and I'd look out, oh, there's Dennis, was dragging the little rake every 3 innings in the infield. What did you do outside of that?
Oh, I got to sweep the lines before the game every time. And then my job during the game was to open the gate when it needed to be, like for steal the base and things like that. And then the other guys would be dragging the bases in between. So I got to mainly just sit and watch the game until afterwards.
Where are you sitting for the game?
Sometimes I sit in the room in the back, or sometimes I sit out by the right field pole.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're lucky too. You didn't have to worry about tarp too much with being inside.
We had to practice it, and it stressed me out. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go that fast.
Yeah, I worked for the Hooks for a summer, and even though I was in media relations and was up in the press box for most of the game, I was on tarp duty at any moment. If it we'd all just sprint downstairs, start pushing that tarp out. So I know how stressful that can be. I mean, I'm sure there was a contingency plan of, if we happen to have the roof open and it gets stuck and it starts raining, like, what do we do? But luckily you didn't have to deal with that too much.
Not in my years. I didn't have to pull it out. So we're good.
So did you get to know the guys that were doing other mascots at other teams? You all connect at all? Is there some secret conference once a year where all the mascots are hanging out?
Well, the Major League Baseball mascots, we all go to the All-Star game together.
Okay.
And that, you get to visit with them guys. Some of them, they stay in contact with me now. I mean, there's one that comes down all the time to visit me from Detroit, the Detroit Tiger mascot. And it's just, it's like a neat little fraternity. They all just checking up on me, and I check up on them and just to see how they're doing. It's a neat community.
Was it cool for your kids that you were the mascot, or was it like, oh, there's dad being a goofball?
At first it was cool. Afterwards, oh, it's just dad.
I'm sure teenage kids probably don't think it's nearly as cool.
It's just dad,
yes. Was that something that they bragged about to their friends? Like, yeah,
every now and then, but they didn't really tell me, a lot of people, what I did for a living there. So
how because you've got to have more restraint than I do. That would be the first thing I would tell any stranger that I ever met was, hey, did you know I'm the Astros mascot? How do you bring that up in casual conversation?
I normally didn't, if they knew, they knew, but I didn't really say much about that.
Why? That's all I would talk about.
I know. It's just part of the rules with the mascotting. But nowadays some of the kids are going around saying, yeah, it's me. But, as I work with some mascots now, I'm telling them, you don't want people to know inside. You want to be able to get out of that suit afterwards and just see people that I mess with them, and they wouldn't have a clue who you were.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Chandler went to LSU, and I've messed with him before. I had a friend that was the Tiger at LSU, but of course there they say they're the friend of the Tiger. They never admit to it until after they graduate. So you got all sorts of unwritten rules as you're doing that. Do you have a favorite memory of like an all-star game that you went to? Because you're obviously in your own stadium for 99% of the time that you're performing. When you get to go to other stadiums, do you have any favorites that you got to
Well,
see or
they
interact
they
with?
do have a home run derby for the mascots at the All-Star game, and I can say I have won it. I have been the home run
Yeah,
derby champion. So, yeah,
there we go.
yeah. So it's a fun time.
Yeah, okay. I mean, are you out there in the suits, or are you just out
Yes,
there? You're in the suits doing home
yes.
run
We're,
derby?
we're in the suit doing the home run derby. It's a mini field, but still, you have to learn
What?
to hit them over the fence. Yes,
I did not. Is there video of that somewhere? You got to send me that.
I have no idea.
I
I
I
wasn't
gotta
around when
see
there
it.
was a lot of video about there, but
Yeah,
I'm sure
somebody's
there
got the
is some.
giant
Yeah.
VHS tape doing that. Well, Dennis, I really it's so fun talking to you about this, and I know people are gonna love hearing that as well. Do you make it out to the park much anymore?
I've only been out there one other time. I'm mainly dealing with the rodeo now. I'm working with the rodeo mascot Howdy. So
Okay.
and so they let me work with them, and I'm trying to work with the guys, improve them, and get Howdy out there and get his name known. So
Well, everybody listening or watching on YouTube, when you make it to the rodeo this year, if you see Dennis hanging out around Howdy out there, make sure you tell him hi, tell him thank you for all the memories that he's given us. But Dennis, I appreciate you coming on. It's so fun hearing from you.
and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we will be right back to recap the Orioles after a quick message from DraftKings. Days of summer means MLB is fully heating up, and so is your shot to score big. Download the Pick 6 app for the easiest way to turn your baseball takes into actual cash. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for two or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. No gimmicks, no weird rules. And get this, all new Pick 6 customers will instantly get $50 in bonus picks on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promo.
All right. So Astros took 3 of 4 this weekend from the Orioles. Big series, especially coming in after not looking great. The past few series, they've kind of been up and down, but 3 out of 4 from the Orioles is exactly what this team needed to maintain their lead in the division. So to give you a quick update there, the Mariners won today as well. The Astros are 2 games up on the Mariners as we head into Monday. The Mariners start a series with the San Diego Padres, who are tied for the division lead with the Dodgers out in the NL West. That's going to be a huge series. Meanwhile, the Astros will be playing the not Padres, the Rockies, who have already been eliminated from postseason play officially. I think we all knew that in about April, but officially eliminated. So another chance for the Astros to gain some ground in the division. But let's talk about that series a little bit. We joked on the last episode, that Jesus Sanchez had been struggling a bit, and I kind of jokingly said, he could go 7 for 12 this weekend and raise his batting average to 250. I undershot him, apparently. He went 7 for 8 this weekend and did raise his batting average to 250. So he is now hitting 250. Really, really good series from him. The 5-for-5 game. Again, another guy who somehow has a 5-hit game while Jose Altuve does not. That continues to be one of my favorite stories in baseball, that Jose Altuve just can't get a 5th hit for whatever reason. But Jesus Sanchez got a 5-hit game, looked really, really good. Again, that swing is just one that, when he's ripping it, good things happen. We saw some bloops go in. We saw, a couple of really good, strong hits as well. But a strong series from him, a lot to look forward from him going forward. Christian Walker has also just been very good. In his last 60 games, he has an 800 OPS. So from the middle of June on, obviously just started the season terribly, but since then has been very, very good. That 800 OPS is actually a little bit better than his career OPS at 782. So, he's been right in line with what you would expect from Christian Walker. And you can see how much that changes the Astros lineup. That's why they went out and signed him. And he's been every bit what they expected from him since June or so. So another really encouraging sign there. Last kind of encouraging sign. There's a ton to talk about, but another one here is Bryan Abreu. My goodness, is that guy good at pitching? What a luxury that the Astros have a guy who, when your all-star closer goes down, you can plug in another guy who arguably has been better this season. Bryan Abreu again came in, got a 4-out save, came in the next day, locked it down as well. He has just been incredible out of the bullpen for the majority of his Astros career, but this year in particular has been really, really exciting to watch. The starting pitching leaves a little bit to be desired, and we've talked about that. The Astros didn't make any moves at the deadline to fill in those gaps there, but yeah, the starting pitching has just not been what they needed it to be. Jason Alexander has continued to be good. I don't know how to explain that, but you can count on him for 5 or 6 innings every 5th day, and he's been really helpful for them. But another kind of rough Lance McCullers Jr. start. I saw the report after that he's 1 pitch away from being there. Okay, we'll see. I hope so. I don't know how much longer they can continue to let him do that. And Chandler's not here to tell me I can't talk about it, so we're going to. It just hasn't looked good. So really need to see Lance land some in the strike zone. His pitches move so much, and he gets weak contact. He gets all the things that you want. He just hasn't been able to land it in the strike zone. And so not only does that cause obviously runs to come in, but it causes those innings like we saw in the first and second of his start, where they're just 25, 30 pitch innings and is just laboring out there. So yeah, you hope that he can find it at some point. But it's getting late in the season. The Astros need some consistency in that rotation. And so you hoped that the next day Cristian Javier would be able to provide you with that. But that was not a great Cristian Javier start. I don't think I need to explain that to anybody. 2 innings, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, 5 runs, 3 earned. That was the AJ Blue Ball game. He came in and gave them 4 innings of really good pitching, and then unfortunately immediately got optioned. That's just kind of how it works in baseball, especially with a bullpen as taxed as the Astros have had. They needed some arms to come up. But I certainly think AJ Blue Ball has shown that he's got the ability to go out and get outs. So, I assume that we'll see him back up here in 15 days, if not before, because remember, you can come back up before those 15 days in your option period if you are replacing someone who is injured. And this is the time of year where, as Josh says, the fringe roster guys can wake up with an injury they didn't know that they had if they need to. And so you certainly could see something along those lines happening. But Spencer Arrighetti, that start today was exactly what you needed from Arrighetti. It was interesting that he didn't get a ton of strikeouts, didn't even generate a lot of whiffs. It was a lot of, weak contact today. But, he was able to provide them length that they really, really needed. Going 5 2/3, only giving up 2 runs. Again, only 2 strikeouts, which is not the norm for Arrighetti. But, providing that length was something that the Astros really, really needed, especially after having your starter go 2 innings the game before, and McCullers only making it through 4 the start before. So the Astros needed that length today. Arrighetti provided it. Some encouraging signs there. We will come back and talk a little bit more about some injury updates, finish things up, and roll on to the next series here with the Rockies right after this message from Foul Territory.
FT fam, when you're playing in games, you kind of have some stress, anxiety, teammates need somebody, something to help. Now it's at your fingertips with Rula.
That's right. Telehealth has been a huge help for millions of people, but it can be time-consuming and expensive to find the right therapist. Rula is on a mission to make this process smoother. And make sure you go to rula.com/Val for more details. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only about $15 per session. Every provider on Rula is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/Val to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them. Please say that FT sent you there to support the show, but also worry about yourself here at rula.com, RULA.com/FOUL, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
How in the world did Chandler do this by himself for like 45 minutes? At the time that he did this alone? This is insane. I am literally talking. I'm looking at myself in this screen that we record on. I'm talking to myself. I feel insane. I don't understand how you do this. I think Bill Burr has been doing this by himself for like 3 hours every Monday for the last decade. I feel crazy. I don't know how you do this by yourself without people to ask questions for, look up things in the background, zone out for a bit, which I probably do more than I should. But shout out Chandler. His solo pod was very good. I am doing my best here to land the ship so Chandler can go have some dinner with friends. Allegedly, again, I need pictures to see that. I'm not sure that that's actually happening. I think he just got tired of me. But this is hard. So thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, let's talk some injury updates. There's a fella named Yordan Alvarez who's been tearing it up in Double-A in the last weekend. Every time I get on X, the Everything app, Everything Happens on X trademark, I see another double that he's ripping. Saw him steal a base, which frankly, I did not appreciate. I don't want to see Yordan stealing a base. I'd prefer him in a wheelchair once he gets to the bases. But good for him that his legs are working. I guess that's not really our concern with the hand being injured. But good for him. All reports, and by all reports I mean Chandler. That's the reporting that I take in. So Chandler says it is looking very likely that if he made it out of today with no injuries, which we haven't heard anything at this point, so fingers crossed, everybody knock on wood, somewhere. This is glass. I hope that doesn't count against the Astros, but knock on wood, we will see Jordan in the lineup on Tuesday. Thank goodness, not a moment too soon. Very excited to see him in that lineup to provide, I mean, obviously protection, to provide a left-handed bat to pair with Jesús Sánchez, who famously is hitting 250 now and is good. You're welcome, everyone. But very, very excited to see Jordan back. Luis Garcia is getting closer as well. We will probably see him in the next week or so, at least from my understanding. When Chandler listens to this, he's going to text me and say I'm way off, but I'm pretty sure that's true, that Luis Garcia will be back soon. I assume, given a starting role, but certainly as we get closer to the postseason, could be a guy to come out of the bullpen. Another guy who I think would be a great fit in the bullpen is JP France, who, finished up the rehab and is now in AAA. Still kind of stretching him out, being ready to come up as a starter, obviously, but also as a reliever, because as we've seen in this series with the Orioles, the Astros do not have length in their bullpen right now. They basically have to just keep playing carousel and bringing up somebody, optioning them the next day, or in the case of Sean Dubin, DFAing them just to have enough arms on the roster. So having another guy like JP France will be huge. I'm keeping an eye on Yiner. If you were watching the game today, Astros legend Craig Kimbrel came in, and boy, that's going to be great for Immaculate Grid forever, right? I got an eighth inning out of Craig Kimbrel in an Astros uniform. What a weird sight to see. Still has that knuckle curve, man. That thing moves. But Yiner got crossed up on a pitch at the end of the eighth inning. Took a 94-mile-an-hour four-seamer directly to the wrist. I was texting Chandler because they had just pinch hit Victor Cantini the inning before. They cut over to him on the broadcast in the dugout, and he was already in, not street clothes, but didn't have his jersey on. He just had the undershirt on or whatever. So he clearly wasn't available. I believe Cooper Hummel had been the emergency catcher for most of the year, but obviously he is not with the Astros any longer. And so I just assumed that it would be Mauricio Dubon. And I was right. As soon as I texted Chandler that, they showed on the broadcast that he was jogging over to the dugout just to see if he was needed. I was kind of hoping selfishly that, I think it was like a 3-2 count at this point, 2 outs in the eighth. The Astros were losing, so theoretically there was only one pitch left in the inning. I kind of wanted to see Dubon in catcher's gear, but luckily that did not happen. But we will wait and see with Yiner. I don't believe there's been any, concerning reports, but anytime you take 94 to the wrist, I assume it hurts. That never happened to me. I topped out in Pony League, and I think I probably took like a 65-mile-an-hour fastball to the ribs, and that was enough for me to know that baseball was not going to be the sport I go pro in. I don't know how those guys do it, but hopefully Yiner is doing better, can make it through there. But yeah, the Astros have the Rockies coming up. Hot take, the Rockies are bad at baseball. The Astros need to take 2 of 3. Obviously, you would prefer to see more than that. But, I mean, they have a homestand coming up with the Rockies and then the Angels immediately after that. And then the Yankees come into town. So with 6 games, 7 games, actually, it's a 4-game series with the Angels. So 7 games between the Rockies and Angels. I mean, I almost, it feels bad to say you need 5 wins out of that to go 5-2. But I think you need 5 wins out of that, right? I mean, you've got to be able to maintain this lead over the Mariners, who again have the Padres. Then the Mariners are off on Thursday. Then they are at Cleveland, and then at Tampa Bay, and then at the Braves. So outside of the Padres, those are not teams that inspire a ton of fear in you. And actually, the Mariners don't really play anybody scary until the very last weekend of the season. So quick rundown: Rays, Braves, Cardinals, Angels, Royals. 3-game series at home for the Astros with the Astros in September. Then the Rockies, then the Dodgers. So that's the Mariners schedule for the rest of the year. Not a ton to be nervous about if you are the Mariners. The Astros have the Rockies, Angels, Yankees, Rangers, Blue Jays, Braves, Rangers, Mariners, A's, and Angels. So obviously, Rangers are always going to be tough. Blue Jays have been really, really good. You got another series against the Rangers. That Mariners series at the end, that's the last homestand of the season. That's September 19th through 21st. Meet me there. I'm gonna try to go out and see one of those. I mean, that's gonna be huge for the season. So the good news for the Astros is if they can keep the lead after that series with the Mariners, the Astros do end with a little easier schedule. They have the A's and the Angels, while the Mariners end with the Rockies and Dodgers to finish out their season. And again, the Dodgers are in a dogfight right now with the Padres for the division lead and for a bye in the first round. So that's going to be huge down the stretch. A lot going on. It's fun, man. Baseball's the best. I know we have football coming back. I'm excited. I've got some fantasy drafts coming up, but man, 31 games left in the season. 2-game lead. We will see. I think this is the part of the show where I talk about buying some merch. We've had a ton of people buy merch, which is crazy to me. My coffee mug came in. I'm very excited about that. I ordered some shirts. I've gotten several reports that, in particular, people love the lightweight hoodie. I've had a few people message me and say theirs came in and it was super comfortable and they really liked it. I believe I ordered one as well. I think it'll be here in the next day or so. But yeah, buy some merch. CrushCityTerritoryShop.com. It helps us out, and it's fun, man. I can't believe you guys are buying merch, but it's very special. It feels really good. We appreciate you guys. So please head over there, buy some merch. Remember to what do I say here? Like and subscribe, leave comments. You know what actually would be the most, I mean, not most helpful, like, subscribe, do all of those things. But you're talking baseball with your friends, your coworkers, whatever. The thing that goes further than anything else is just saying like, hey, have you heard Crush City Territory? It's this Astros podcast that I listen to. They've got 2 good hosts, one who just did an episode by himself. Maybe don't listen to that one. But normally it's a really good show. That goes a long way. I think, when people hear those recommendations, people are looking for good Astros podcasts. I get messages like that all the time. I'm like, oh man, it's so good to have one to listen to. It's fun to keep up with. So yeah, that word of mouth is really helpful for us, especially as the playoffs are coming. People are kind of getting in the zone, wanting to catch up, kind of hear what's been going on with the Astros, get the previews as series are coming up. That is really helpful for us. So yeah, if you can, we'd really appreciate you reaching out to people, letting them know about us, and we will be here for you. Boy, do I hope Chandler's back. This was impossible. I don't ever want to do this by myself again. Thank you for listening, and we will see you guys soon. Let me hit the outro video. Let me make sure I have it. Okay, we're ready to go. And bye.